It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, where we focus on all things weather, sponsored by Marco's Pizza because we get hungry from time to time, and we're looking ahead to the weekend. It's never too early to think about the weekend, even though it's Wednesday, but we're also thinking about Thanksgiving next week. We're just about 8 days away from a turkey meal, or maybe whatever you're choosing to eat on that special day next Thursday, the 27th. But as we see here, there are clearly some indications that rain may be a factor. We had some rain this morning. We had a touch of it this morning. We had 0.04 of an inch in Portsmouth. I want to say good evening to all of those of you who might be watching from Portsmouth. 0.05 of an inch, very light this morning. In Elizabeth City and Hampton, Virginia Beach picked up 0.03. So not a lot of rain. We can move these maps a little bit more. Had almost 0.2. 0.17 of an inch fell at Wallops Island. That was the big winner. Emporia, Suffolk also picked up about 0.03. If you're on the call, I want to say hi to you. I got a note. I want to say hi to our new friend, David Edwards. He's on here. He's saying hi from Smithfield. So we've got Smithfield represented on the call. I just want to say hi to him, and we can underline his and tell us straight he is actually in Smithfield, although, to be fair, he left that comment last night on last night's stream. So if you have a comment, let me know. I'll do my best. Also want to give you some free pizza. Can we do that? We're going to give away free pizza tomorrow. The certificate looks like this. If your name is selected, and you have to put your name in the list, I'll show you how to do that. But if you happen to win this certificate, this is like pizza gold, because you get a large pizza with one topping every month for free. And since it's November, it'll work like a punch card. You can punch it in for November, you'll get one in December, and it will carry you right through, because you get 12. It'll get right through October of 2026. But your name will go up in the upper left corner. If you win it, it'll come by regular mail. But even if you don't win, you could also get 50% off your pizza tonight. That's what I think is pretty sweet. One of the best, maybe the most crowd favorite promo codes or deal of the week codes is the WTKR 50. That is valid through this week through Saturday. So anything that you happen to order from marcos.com, they'll take 50% off at the checkout. Now, there are only 6 locations that are participating in the half-off pizza and the free pizza, and they're on your screen. There's 3 in Virginia Beach, 2 in Chesapeake, 1 in Norfolk, and I did mention that this is the place you want to go to sign up. So if you have any chance of winning, you only have to register once. Go to our webpage, WTKR.com/Marcos, and you'll actually get a chance to win some free pizza. We will announce those winners tomorrow. It does say every Thursday. Because of my schedule in the past few weeks, it hasn't always fallen on a Thursday, but it will tomorrow. And of course, you might like the pepperoni pizza if you've never tried it, maybe a Pizzoli, but to satisfy your appetite, I just want to promote our sponsor, Marcos, because sometimes we get hungry. Now, I want to check in with you and check in with more comments, but we were looking at the rainfall this morning. Our lows kind of a bit misleading. We did fall to 50 degrees in Norfolk at 4:44 a.m. 4:44 a.m., but we did fall below that as of about, say, 5 p.m. 5 p.m. we fell to 49. So it's kind of been a topsy-turvy day. Now that the clouds are rolling in, the cooling process may have slowed a bit, because it looks like we're back to 50 here at 7 o'clock. And we have a wind at 13, so it feels like about 46. High temperatures today hit right where I expected to be. I expected 61 degrees. That was the high temperature today, and that occurred, because I'm a note taker, that occurred at 11:17 this morning. What? We had a high temperature in the morning? Yeah, it was right before midday. We hit 61 degrees, and then it cooled thereafter. Once the winds came more of a northerly direction, it cooled us down a little bit. So before I could get to the weekend, I wanted to cover the pink elephant in the room, which was today. We did get some rain, but that's now all gone. Weather headlines: increasing clouds tonight, overnight lows in the 40s. All right, well, we're in the 40s now in many cases, so that shouldn't surprise you. And also, we're expecting more clouds to linger on Thursday with cooler highs only in the 50s. So if you're liking the cooler weather, this is maybe your cup of tea. You like to wear a light jacket afternoons. Maybe this is your thing. Let me know. I'll put you on the screen and leave a comment. If you have something you want to add, I got a note from Kim Thompson-Jones. She's on here saying hello. Everybody, love the fact that she's figured this out many months ago, where if you leave a comment, your picture, the one you supply Facebook, will show up on the comment screen as I can toggle you back on at any time. But I'm glad to have you here. Kim's watching live. Appreciate her support. And also, as I come back, pull this back down a moment, and talk about the fact that rain will be returning. Now, this rain that I'm talking about for Friday and Saturday will be widely scattered, and I'll explain why in a moment, but highs in the 60s. We will be on the warm side of the next approaching storm system, so it's going to actually elevate our temperatures back to the 60s even on Friday and Saturday. Back into the 50s, however, by Sunday. Now, if that's where we are headed, let me show you where we've been. Now, this is just a loop over the last 2 hours. It does show you that we have some clouds that might be advancing. Some are hard to see on this image, but there were a few maybe over the last 3 hours, maybe a few sprinkles between Salvo, Rodanthe, and Hatteras, but even that has pulled away, and the reason they were getting a few sprinkles is because the cold front was passing by. It's now over Wilmington, North Carolina, and Wrightsville Beach, and it's pulling away. But off to the north, lo and behold, over New York State, the Empire State, is an area of high pressure. And I got a follow-up question from Lynn Old. I believe he is, yes, scattered showers. In fact, things have changed so much in 24 hours. And this is why I always tell future brides, brides typically get married on weekends. I say, don't even look at the forecast until Wednesday, because usually you got to be within 3 days out to get any kind of handle on timing. Sure, you could blanket I could get a 14-day forecast, I could get a 30-day forecast, that's fine. But if you're trying to time out, I don't know, a wedding ceremony, or in this case, a point forecast like a parade, sometimes it helps to be about Wednesday before you get to the weekend of a Saturday, because things can change. Things can speed up like they did last night to today, or they could slow down. But in this case, I do think it's going to be scattered, Lynn, so thank you for the question. And I'll explain more about that here in a moment, too. Now, as far as tonight's clouds, do you have stars overhead? Maybe. I mean, based on the latest current conditions from the METARs, these are the codes we get from the airport, it looks like maybe it isn't that cloudy in Franklin or Edenton. But there are certainly clouds over Wallops Island, over Norfolk, and Virginia Beach, based on the latest observation as of, say, 7 o'clock. Now, as far as the rain potential for Friday and Saturday, this is on your screen now. So I just wanted to give you an idea. Yes, it'll be scattered, Lynn, but it's going to maybe total a third, maybe generously in Norfolk, maybe a quarter inch for Cape Charles, maybe lesser amounts, about a tenth of an inch for Emporia, Edenton, or Nags Head. Not a lot of rain. Maybe the best of it would come into the Roanoke area with a little more than a half inch, but it doesn't appear to be that big of a rainmaker, and that's over a 2-day period. I don't expect rain tomorrow. I left a 10% chance for cover, but I just think that you're generally looking at a mostly cloudy day tomorrow. There will be some intervals of sun, so we could probably objectively call it, if you're looking at METARs, it would be broken. What's wrong with my clouds? Are they broken? No, sometimes when you one airplane pilot to the other and say the skies are scattered, broken, or overcast. But this would be described as mostly cloudy to partly sunny. Mostly cloudy to partly sunny. That's what I expect tomorrow. There may be a mix from times in the afternoon, but we'll go from 48 at 7, that's tomorrow, 53 at noon, winds are very light, 5 to 10 out of the northeast, and then we have fewer clouds by 7 with temperatures about 50 degrees at that time. So that's my expectation tomorrow, but again, not too windy of a day at all, 5 to 10 tomorrow. Now, as I mentioned, 10% maybe academic tomorrow. I think the best chance of rain will come in on Friday and Saturday, and it's not even widespread, as you'll see here on a couple of my futurecast maps. This is the first one. Notice the time at the upper left corner. Up over the upper right corner says 1 o'clock, all right? So we can assume that this is the start of the afternoon, and there's potentially some rain here. Doesn't mean it's raining steadily, and if it's easier, I can switch back to my yellow telestrator. Maybe this is better. Maybe it's not even that yellow, it looks more greenish. But either way, yeah, the gold might be better. Maybe if you do gold, the gold looks better. All right, so we'll do that. But this cold front is actually going to be very slow to get into Arkansas by 5 o'clock on Friday. The warm front that you see ahead of it is going to act more like a snake in a way. If you think about it, warm fronts are very tricky to time, especially 3-4 days out. But now that we're about 5 o'clock Friday, a lot of that rain might slow down. I'll advance this even further. This starts the day 7 a.m. Saturday. We have our best chance of rain on the front end of the day. But here's where things have changed. By noontime, still some showers. The low is overhead. by 5 o'clock, it looks like it's still around, but then voila, 7 o'clock. Look at this, looky. 7 o'clock is when this parade starts. Are you sure about that? Are you sure it's at 7 o'clock? I'm pretty sure it's 7 o'clock. It's at 7 o'clock. That's what that says right there. 7 o'clock, downtown Norfolk, and it's free. And did I mention it is, in fact, the 39th annual Grand Illumination Parade? There's a lot of reasons people get excited about these types of events because, let's face it, maybe it's a tradition where you've taken your family there year after year after year. But it's a great time if you can come. 70,000 I've heard might be there. 95,000 might be watching it in total. So there's just going to be a lot of fun on the 39th Annual Grand Illumination Parade in Norfolk. And of course, that is this Saturday. So I'd like to just kind of put this in perspective. The way things are trending is we may still have some clouds at 7 o'clock, but it does look like it's improving dramatically. That's 9 o'clock. The parade goes until 10. So the clouds might be decreasing at the way things are shaping up now. If this low kicks out pretty quickly, what is trending to do today, we can have some optimism. The streets might be wet, but it may not be actively raining, and Sunday looks pretty good too as well. Just checking in with you. I want to see if you have a comment. Got Marilyn Bell on here. I haven't said hi to Marilyn in a while. She says hello. And let me come back here. Come back on camera on this side. There we go. She says, and I'm telestrating, very beautiful day here in East Tennessee. Hope you spent some time outside. It was beautiful. A couple of showers here in the morning, but that was pretty much done by about 7 a.m. here. But I'm sure you have probably a little bit of a different weather pattern than we do slightly. But we'll look at that too when we look at the broader view here in just a moment. But thank you, Marilyn, for being here. Looking ahead to Thanksgiving, pick out your favorite town. It doesn't necessarily have to be here because you might have family coming in from Chicago, maybe from New Orleans, maybe from Atlanta. But something should tell you when you look at this, just from the colors and the cool colors, where you see blue like Michigan and Wisconsin and Chicago, it's cold. Right? This is what we were talking about last night in terms of the sudden stratospheric warming event. This is an early sign of it, but there will be reinforcements to come. But there are good indications that after Thanksgiving, this cold air will bleed back down toward Virginia Beach, and we'll have some cold air. Hey, by the way, the polar vortex, we talked about this last night. I won't go into it all the great detail, but for those of you that like me to carry this chapter to the next chapter, the Arctic air typically goes around counterclockwise. It does get a reversal of the winds. The displacement, as it were, will continue to change direction, and we can see that surge down into the lower 48. And when you have that happen, it's like lights out, it's super cold, and all of a sudden the heating bills suddenly go up. Or there's a dramatic rush to buy some firewood because of how cold it potentially could be. And I think that's going to be the case. Now, last night, I showed you this. I showed you, and again, you can see the date. I want you to look at the date. That's the 18th. I'm just putting some earmarks there. November 18th. And where you see the orange, this is where the stratosphere is warming up rapidly. And I told you, remember from your days, all of our days in middle school, that what does warm air do? It rises, and cold air sinks. So when you get a rapid rise in the stratosphere, we're talking 6 miles to 31 miles up. What you're looking at here is roughly 58,000 feet, so you're almost 10 or 11 miles up. So it's a good indication or a good barometer, as it were, but this is more thermometer of what's happening over parts of Canada, and some of that's going to come down in terms of cold air. Now, if you look at today's, what's today? Is it better or worse? It looks even warmer in the stratosphere, which is also even more bullish for cold air, and that would be about 30 days from now, which would put you pretty close to Christmas. You mean we could get a burst of cold air in time for Christmas? Yeah, we could. That was yesterday. This is today. So my only point to you here is that we're far from done with winter. Winter is coming back, maybe with a vengeance. Certainly snow is going to break out in other parts of the country. How far will it get here? Don't know yet. But this would be a good time to fix the heater in your car or at your home, or make sure you have some way to stay warm, even if that means hoping and getting a really good warm winter coat. Because you know and I know February 19th might have caught a few people in Virginia Beach off guard. I wouldn't want that to happen if you got snow, but if you get a blast of cold air, even without the snow, that can also cause some issues. If you've got a comment, let me know. I'd love to say hi to you. I got Lynn on here, I got Marilyn, and I got Kim. So thank you for being here. Let's keep moving. I'm going to go back. We'd already talked about the polar vortex. Today's high was 61 degrees. Normal high is 61. Well, wait, that's weird. That's quakey dinky. Yeah, I know. So, I mean, why be normal? Today was a normal day. Yesterday, not so much, 56. Monday, 56. But we were above normal on Sunday, so we've had a little bit of everything this week. We've had 6 above normal days this month, 12 below normal, and we could say 1 normal day because today's normal high is, in fact, 61 degrees. Our temperatures have dropped considerably this time yesterday. Compare apples to apples. It is now 7:55. Current temperature is 50 in Norfolk. We've come up a degree since 5 p.m. 49 Hampton, 44 Melfa, 45 in Wallops Island, and low temperatures tonight should ease into the mid to upper 40s for most, near 50 for Duck, and about 38 for Conway here in parts of North Carolina. So Cortland 39, Waverly 39, low temperature in Norfolk about 47 by morning. Here's the temperature forecast. As you can see as we go through tonight 11, many of us are going to either hold fairly steady. Clouds are going to do that, have that insulating effect like a blanket on the bed, will keep you warm. Still around 50 south side, but by tomorrow morning, many of us will be in the 40s, maybe still in the 50s for the Outer Banks. By midday into 3 o'clock, we reach our high temperature, about 57. There could easily be some low 60s in the Albemarle and inland North Carolina, but generally 57 is what I expect to find for an afternoon high tomorrow. By 5 o'clock, we're already starting the cooling process. All right, here's one of my favorite times now. Let's do some weather trivia. I want to know if any of you are paying attention and to see if you have your weather IQ on. Let's figure this out. What phase of the El Nino Southern Oscillation, also known as ENSO, are we currently in? Is it A, El Nino, B, La Nina, or is it neutral? Is it a neutral phase? That would be C. If you have a guess, if you have a thought, if you have a comment, let me know, and we'll put it on the screen. But I'd love to see if you're guessing tonight. If you are not going to guess, I will continue and give you the answer, but I'll give you like 20 more seconds. See if anybody's watching live. We got Lynn, we got Marilyn, we got Kim. Anyone want to take a guess? The El Nino Southern Oscillation with an acronym of ENSO, what phase are we in? Is it A, B, or C? I don't know if I have any guessers right now, so I'll go ahead and give you the answer. It's B, La Nina. We're in a weak La Nina at this stage, and typically when it's strong, it might mean more wet weather for the winter, not necessarily snowy. Now, we heard from Marilyn Bell a moment ago. She said she had good weather in East Tennessee. We can peruse what's going on there. Clearly, when I look at this map, I see a couple of hot spots in orange. Oklahoma, Texas, where we're getting some severe weather there. We got a coastal storm that's coming into Northern California. But if I zoom in a little bit tighter, it looks like Oklahoma has a storm cell right now that's moving to the north and maybe northeast. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for Grady Stevens till 7:15. And there's one similar to that. Looks like it's in Texas. Which county is this specifically? Let's see if this will fire up. Or maybe low. There it is, Stonewall. Someone who is familiar with Texas might know where Stonewall County, Texas, is located. That's until 7 o'clock Central Time in Texas. But does look pretty quiet in East Tennessee, where I see Oak Ridge. I'm looking at Knoxville here as well. Pretty quiet, maybe a few scattered clouds on the move, but pretty quiet here. And we go back home, of course, we have some clouds that may be increasing tonight. Don't be surprised if that is the case. Oh, I got Maryland guessed. We got some guesses, some late guesses. Let's see here. This is the drought monitor. I do want to point this out. This will come in tomorrow. This is last week's, but it might be a good comparison. Marilyn Bell said A. A was El Nino. That would not be correct. And Kim had a guess, was C, which was neutral. Actually, we're in a La Nina, so we'll see how that plays out. I do think in these types of situations, when you get a stratospheric warming event, one that's sudden, an SSW, sudden stratospheric warming event, which is what's unfolding, this is clearly flashing like a neon sign. We're going to get a surge of cold Arctic air, like bitter. I mean, like, man, dead of winter type of chill. That's coming. And if it comes in that 30 to 45 day time frame, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we're just about 36 days away from Christmas, 43 days away from 2026 with New Year's Day. We've got a time frame where it could be really, really bitter. And so hopefully for holidays, you say, hey, could I get a new set of mittens or gloves or earmuffs, whatever, or a warm jacket? I'm sure your family members hopefully will come together and be able to help you out, because it will get pretty brutal in the days to come. By the way, the NOAA's drought monitor, the only hot spots that really jump off the page here for me locally would be Bertie County, Chowan County, which includes Edenton, Perquimans County, Pasquotank. Some areas really haven't had an issue for drought in Norfolk. Some dry areas in Matthews and Gloucester County in yellow. That's level 1 of 5. The legend at the top of the ticket there shows abnormally dry. Moderate drought in brown would include Elizabeth City, Edenton, and Bertie and Windsor, but essentially the severe is really out to the west. It's really back toward near Harrisonburg and perhaps back across the Shenandoah Valley, back toward maybe the Allegheny or Blue Ridge Mountains. Now, we did pick up 3/100 of an inch today, now up to 1 1/3 inches. It's now 8 o'clock. I'm going to keep moving. But so far, if you're just keeping track, most of what we've had now, we're about 5 inches below normal for the year. And we've had only 3 months, count them in green, only 3 months above normal all year long. And that would be February, May, and September. Right now, we're about 3/4 of an inch below normal in November, and we have seen just shy of 40 inches. Last year we had 46 1/4, a difference of about 6.5 difference a year makes. 49 currently in Newport News. We have 49 in Hampton, Suffolk, and Chesapeake. It's 50 in Norfolk. We have 49 right now in Smithfield, 50 in Moyock, Currituck, and we have 50 in Edenton. These are the current 8 o'clock numbers as the computer does update automatically at the top of the hour. But 42 in Richmond, and it's 64 in Charlotte. So there's some more warmth here. You can clearly see where the warm front is having an impact. If you're underneath that line, things are starting to warm up nicely. It's 66 in Columbia and also Myrtle Beach. But as we've already highlighted, this is going to be coming down like a time-release vitamin C tablet. We're going to get in between 30 to 45 days. That's my 3. 30 to 45 days. That's how long it's going to take before we get another wave, another cycle. And if you need some evidence of what I'm talking about, I was at a Norfolk Admirals game about a week ago last Friday. And what happened? They said, oh, let's do the wave. You know, everybody does the wave. It's another wave that's going to come in, just like what we're going to see just reinforces one after the other. Because we have now multiple days. This was, again, was the 18th, and this is today. So there's even more coloring in red. I don't know if you can see the red there, but there. I mean, this is how warm it's getting. It's going to, warm air rises, cold air sinks. So just think of the converse. That's how strong the cold air is going to be rushing down, and it could be very well close to 0 or below in parts of the Great Lakes. It's going to be fierce, and if you're not on board with it, if you're not ready for it, it could catch you off guard. And I use the example that sometimes it's like when you're on the paddleboard, right, and the speedboat goes, and it takes maybe 30 to 45 seconds before you feel the effects, right? Suddenly you're like, oh, I fall in, splash, right? If it's a big speedboat, maybe, or a big boat, that might cause the waves to cause you to get off the paddleboard. Speedboat or jet ski might not do it. But this is probably getting stronger. This little blast is going to be pretty strong once it comes down. So these numbers are going to drop accordingly. It'll blow your mind about how cold it could be in a Rapid City or Minneapolis in the next 30 days or less. So let's keep going. 803, future temperatures. You can see that cold pole of air just oozing on down. This takes you through the 24th, 25th, of course, Thanksgiving's the 27th, and it goes all the way down to the Dakotas. That's, of course, midday at Thanksgiving. That may be when you are enjoying a meal with your loved ones and your family. Maybe you have leftovers at 3:30, or maybe that's when you start to eat. I don't know. But maybe by 7, everybody's on the leftover track, and you're eating you're having leftovers of the turkey, the green bean casserole, the yams, sweet potatoes with marshmallows. Sweet potatoes with marshmallows. Is that a thing? Whatever it is, you're eating mashed potatoes with gravy. You might be having seconds by the time this map comes to fruition, comes to pass. 7 p.m. on Thanksgiving night, and look how cold it's just coming down. This is just going to come to, even the models can't get their handle around it until it's actually on the move. That's what's going to shock you and maybe your neighbors around you if they're not paying attention. Clearly, the blue moves into West Virginia by the 29th. So expect, as I will double down on what I said yesterday, I think this December is going to be very cold relative to averages. So will it be snow-filled? We'll see. Maybe it's snowy in Roanoke and not so much here. Those things happen all the time. It's really going to depend on the day-to-day, and when we get within the striking distance of 3 days, we'll have a very high confidence of what's going to happen or will not happen. But I can tell you, you need some cold air. Now you got the Climate Prediction Center speaking your language. This came out today, right? This did not look like this yesterday. But it's funny. It's almost as if the Climate Prediction Center was watching your live stream, Aldrich. No, they don't watch my live stream. But if they did, this is pretty consistent with what I said yesterday. All right? A big blast of cold air across the Great Lakes. That takes you through December 3rd. But that starts on Thanksgiving. So when you take that as an average, we're going to see some really cold air on the way. If you got a message, let me know. Let's see here. Ambler wants to know a big question. Let me fly in here. Ambler says, when do you see the first snow of the year? I see it in the rear view mirror, Ambler. We had 0.2, which is on the pre-dawn hours of Veterans Day. In fact, we tied the earliest snowfall in Norfolk, which happened in 1987 on Veterans Day, right? And on that year, in 1987, it was 0.3. This year, it was 0.2. But it did tie the earliest snowfall on record in Norfolk that happened on Veterans Day. Many of you may have slept through it, and that's okay. I got up early, I captured some video on it. It's still on this Facebook page. But yeah, I definitely think we have more snow potential in our future. With a high confidence, it's going to become bone-chilling cold. And so some of you are going to like, it's only December. By the time we get into November, December, and first 2 weeks of January, by the time we hit Dr. King Day, I think we're going to see winter slow down for us. I think it might warm up a bit, but it would be front-end loaded. Those are the terms I use, a front-end loaded winter where we get our best chances of snow in November, December, and January. We've already had it in November on Veterans Day. So good question. It's a good question. I want to keep moving. It's now 8:06. Well, one thing I want to mention, temperatures the next 5 days will go up Friday and Saturday when we get some rain, but it's going to drop 10 degrees, count them up, 10 degrees cooler on Sunday. So Sunday I think is going to be significantly cooler. You know, I just realized as I'm thinking about my temperatures here, numbers. This is my 97th live stream, which means next Tuesday it's going to be 100. Now, I have communicated with Marcos. They're excited about it. We might be able to give out even something more. Even if we don't, there's definitely something special that's going to happen next Tuesday when we've hit our earmark of 100 live streams of First Morning Live. So some of you have watched them all. Some of you have watched maybe 2 or 3. Whatever. We're really glad that you're here. But this is 97, episode 97, and I have them all kept on my YouTube channel so you can count them up. That's where I am because I know Facebook will delete them after 30 days to make room for the cloud. I don't know how that works, but these live streams do fade away after 30 days. But they're on my YouTube channel. Temperature 57 on Sunday, 61 on Monday. So that's where things are in the 7-day or 5-day forecast. Let's get to the Eastern Shore. 8:07, 53 in Onancock tomorrow. A mostly cloudy day. Perhaps some intervals of sun if you're lucky later in the afternoon. 53 in Cape Charles, 53 in Exmoor, and for Duck about 57. Temperatures about 58 for Nags Head and Kill Devil Hills. Manio 57 tomorrow, and Rodanthe about 58 while we're in the low 60s. At least that's the expectation in Ocracoke and Hatteras. Now the Storm Prediction Center is going to light things up in the coming days because let me just put this bug in your ear. Severe weather. How is severe weather going to be a factor when you have cold air coming down from Canada? We're warming up at the stratosphere, so warm air rises, cold air sinks. Now that we've established that, but you need 2 ingredients for tornadoes, right? Cold and warm air. You need cold air and warm humid air relative to the season clash. You're going to get another severe weather season in December, if not late this month. Late this month, around the time of Thanksgiving, when that cold air clashes, be on the lookout for places like Texas, Midwest, maybe the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. These are things we have to watch. but that's something that we need to be mindful of, that it's not going to come in with just, hey, I got some cold air. It might have a bit of a punch to it. And so learning these risk categories and their colors makes sense. Right now, we have a severe weather threat in parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and also maybe southwestern Missouri. This is until 7 a.m. That includes Dallas, Fort Worth, and Oklahoma City area. Back home, obviously nothing here. And then when you look at the severe weather threat as seen from the Storm Prediction Center, the green areas for isolated severe storms is in Texas, Austin, the state capital there, Dallas, Fort Worth, and into parts of Arkansas. Looks like it's around Fort Smith, McAllister, some areas in Sherman, Texas, and McAllister, Oklahoma. Really, Thursday's pretty quiet. And then on Friday, not much to see here. But as we head toward getting closer to that Arctic blast, don't be surprised if we start to see severe weather expectations in some parts of the country, not necessarily here. Futurecast shows we've got more clouds on the increase. We can go step by step through this. This goes through 11 o'clock tonight. Then we go into 7 a.m. And so wait a minute, the sun's out. I thought it wasn't gonna. I thought it was supposed to be mostly cloudy. Think of it as a good blend of the two, maybe from the new data, but there's still going to be at noontime more clouds here. Okay, this looks a little cloudy at 5. So it's going to be partly sunny at best, mostly cloudy at worst. I think we're going to find a lot of clouds and very light winds, generally 5 to 10 if it's moving at all. Then by the time we hit tomorrow night, 11 o'clock, maybe a few thin spots in northeast North Carolina, and now we finally bring in the rain. This is all we're getting. That's not much more than that. 6 a.m., Ahoskie suggesting Franklin, Williamsburg, a couple of showers here. 10 a.m. on Friday, we're getting reinforcements north of Richmond and west of Richmond, and it tries to come in with the next impulse. So that's midday Friday. Then we go into 5 o'clock Friday, it's gone. So to answer the original question, which in fact was Lynn's question, he wanted to know, was it scattered? And I would probably say, based on the analysis here of this futurecast, yeah, that's it. Widely scattered showers on Friday. I don't see it much different on Saturday, to be truthful. I don't see a lot, other than the fact that it's timing out that likely to get out of here, based on today's data, should be out of here before the parade at 7, because it's a big deal. Showed this at the top of the live stream. We have a warm front that's coming into town, and it often behaves like this, so it's very difficult to time. A little easier to track cold fronts, but that will be coming in at noon on Saturday, plenty of rain. 5 o'clock, it's beginning to taper off, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's gone. 7 o'clock. So I'm more hopeful today than I was yesterday. As these things, as I say all the time, they can speed up, they can slow down. It's not like we're not getting some rain. We'll get some rain, maybe a third of an inch or less, but it looks like the timing is in the details. The devil's in the details. By 7 o'clock, it looks like it'll be out of here, and we'll be looking good for the parade and festivities. So for tomorrow morning, mid to upper 40s, that's what I expect to find. Lows in Wakefield, 40. Lows in Duck, 50, and lows in Cape Charles, about 44. If you're in Smithfield, 45. Newport News, 45. Matthews, 41, and Hertford at 45. So we're still going to be in the 50s tomorrow. That's about a few degrees, about 4 degrees cooler tomorrow as compared to today. Upper 50s for North Carolina, maybe even low 60s for Edenton. Edenton hit 69 today. So even at 62, you're still 7 degrees cooler in Chowan County tomorrow versus today. 57 Suffolk, 55 Portsmouth, then about 57 Norfolk, and Newport News at 55 degrees. Here's your first warning, WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. So we're still looking at overnight lows that are somewhat, mild for this time of year. Normal low is 43. I don't even have a low temperature that's below 44. So if the normal low is 43, and that might change, you can go even lower tomorrow, we're still pretty mild. This is all going to change in the coming weeks as we head toward December. It might happen at the end of November, but this would not be the way I would look at this, say, oh, 69, we're looking good heading into December. No, you might see that go up and then crash back down the following days. By the time we all are heading out to the stores on the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, you'll find, hey, oh my goodness, it's actually getting colder here. That's certainly up on the table. By the way, if you want to take a look at Stumpy Lake, love the fact that we get these pictures from our WTKR photographers group. Some happy shots to end with. Lisa captured this, and we've shown you before that the timeline was to occur usually in mid to late November, the red and the brown areas, which cover the Hampton Roads, Northeast North Carolina. So we're in keeping with that. Some of the pictures reflect that. Hampton River sunset from our friend William Wood captured this gem of a beauty pic. Thank you so much, William. And our friend Michael from Virginia Beach captured this sunset with some of the high thin cirrus clouds reflecting off the water. Love that as well. So again, here's your first warning forecast, 57, 63, and then a weekend that's going to have more warmth on Saturday with some showers, but it'll be sunny but cooler on Sunday. So 67 versus 57. Speaking of 50, you get 50% off your pizza tonight. Ooh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If you want anything at Marco's, all you have to do is use the promo code. So however you could reach the sound of my voice, if you're within the sound of my voice, Marco's wants to give you 50% off your pizza. It really is nice. You can save it, you can share it, even says it, screenshot it, but only the participating stores will do that for you. And that's the 6 on the screen, the 3 in Virginia Beach, 2 in Chesapeake, and 1 in Norfolk. That's just the way it is. The one that just opened up is this one here. This is the Marco's Pizza that's inside the Great Bridge Marketplace 2. So if you know this area, it's maybe down the road from Great Bridge Middle School. But Marco's Pizza just opened up this location, I guess, a couple months ago now. But if that's a more convenient location, check out the one on South Battlefield Boulevard. They also have one in Kempsville, and the one in Norfolk is on Hampton Boulevard. So just a reminder, that's where the contest is. We're going to give away free pizza tomorrow. In fact, we're going to give away I believe a total of 12 pizzas, because we're going to go individual. We'll give 10 individual pizzas, then someone's going to get the 12 for the year. So that's a total of 22 pizzas that we're going to give away on episode 98. Because remember, I'm going to do the number 100th episode next Tuesday. So I figured this out next Tuesday, the 100th live stream. I've been talking a lot. I guess that's like 75 hours of talking. That's a lot over my span of time here, which is a little more than 9 months. Anyway, just remember, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or if it's serious. Just remember, every day is a gift. Make the most of it in your neighborhood, and we'll see you here tomorrow with some free pizza winners. Take care.